Oh, I'm doing a fake Italian like I'm Rico Bosco. Hi, I am.
Forget about it.
Oh, my goodness. I am Brandon Walker. To my left is the man, the myth, the legend, the guy returning today from a non-COVID illness that just overcame him last week. His name is Big Ev, the Double Vodka Don. Hello.
I feel great because last week I felt like shit.
Well, technically, you could have come back Friday on the show, and I was like, well, me and Jeff DeLoe made plans, so you would have been back, but
it's all right.
But you had a bad week. You were ill, and now you are back to talk sports and gambling and all other sorts of tomfoolery on Pick Central. Little housekeeping here. We got Ben Mintz is not here. Ben Mintz to my right. Marty Mush also not here. Ben Mintz is he's apparently in Pensacola, Florida on a family vacation that was planned pre-COVID, which is possibly the most shocking thing I have ever heard.
I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow besides the show, I guess.
I don't know. You know what? If you told me you were going to Tokyo a year in advance, if you told me you were going to I don't know, Aruba a year in advance, if you told me you were going to Sydney, Australia a year in advance, yes, I could plan a trip to Pensacola, Florida tonight.
Think about if he planned it pre-COVID. Good for them. I mean, they got balls of steel. They just held on to this motherfucker.
They held on, yeah. They said,
April 2021, shit's going to clear up. We're going to go.
We're heading to Pensacola, Florida. We're going to stay at the Howard Johnsons down there. Like, Pensacola, God bless it. I would live there, but it's so, oh, man, okay. So, Pensacola, Florida, that's where he is. Marty has been down in Mississippi. He's in Nashville, I believe, these days. He's doing some content down there. So it's just me and the Double Vodka Don, which is just fine with me because it's all sports. It is all straight up sports talk where we can just kick it. We can talk NFL draft. We can talk about the 7-inning no-hitter. We can talk about the UFC. We can talk about all of it. Now, Jeff DeLoe will stop in a second to talk about the Oscars, and he will preview the Dozen Selection Show. It is Selection Monday for the Dozen. It is coming out later today. The seeding, I don't know my seed. I know what I need my seed to be to prevent me from being a great big bitch about the whole thing. But you guys are comfortably in, right?
No,
you're not. Or you're on the cusp.
Big time bubble.
You're a bubble team.
Big time bubble.
All right. So you are 2.5 men. You, yes. Joey, and oh, that's right. And ZD's a bubble team.
I would say it's us, ZD, and I believe
Uptown Balls.
And Uptown Balls competing for one spot, I believe.
Oh, that's rough. That is rough. So
we just beat Uptown Balls in our last matchup.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it goes.
You guys are good, but you talk yourself out of being good.
We have a lot of talent. We have some skill.
We haven't been able.
We've shown flashes of being very good.
You're not the '89 Pistons where you're not the 2016 Warriors where you just move the ball around and get a great shot. You guys have some team chemistry. You haven't figured it out yet. You haven't figured out the recipe yet.
I think we have a couple of guys that are pretty good in ISO. I think
Good in ISO. That's a good one.
We have a couple guys who are very good in ISO.
You're McGrady and Vince Carter on the Raptors. Don't win shit.
Yeah, I think we're also a team. We're kind of like Andy Reid like 5-8 years ago, and probably even less than that, where we're talented. We struggle very badly with clock management, timeouts. Mm-hmm. We're very poor with the the doubles and all that. We really struggled using those. That's been a big problem for us.
I am not going to overreact. I'm not going to overreact at all. But if the experts aren't at least a 5 seed, I will burn this damn building to the ground. Fair?
5 is the number? You want 5?
5 is my number. If I'm not top 5, because I understand, there's some stats. Frankettes are elite. The Yak has beaten us several times. Kirk is like a comet shooting across the sky in trivia.
They've got to be the 3 favorites, you'd say, right? And obviously, you guys.
Well, I'm the favorites. You
guys have a lot of experience, which is huge. I think that shouldn't get overlooked. Like just the sheer amount of games you've played.
Yeah.
And because we understand, my team understands that more than anybody, because our lack of experience has been what's our detriment.
Well, we also played 60 games at a man disadvantage. Anyway, we'll talk to Jeff DeLoe about the Dozen trivia later. So this weekend, I guess a lot going on in the sports world. It's NFL Draft Week, which is one of my favorite weeks of the year. It's the best non-sporting event of the year.
I would agree 100%.
It is far and away the best non-sporting
100%.
event. See, it's not a sporting event, but it is a sporting event, Colby. That's what I'm going for there.
No, I know. I was trying to think of what would be a better non-sporting event.
Well, there aren't many that are great.
No.
What could you think of?
I mean, the NFL draft's way better than the NBA draft.
Way better, yeah. And
Than really any other draft by far.
I don't know that I could think of anything even else. We're really just talking about
hot dog
drafts.
eating contest.
No,
That's
I don't
not
get
a
into
sporting
it.
event.
I don't get into it.
What?
Also, NFL draft, you get 3 days. So you get 3. If you're like a junkie like I am, like I'm watching like the 6th round. I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
I certainly watched the first 2 days. I don't know that I watch. I will have Twitter open for the 3rd day.
The 3rd day, I'll usually like. It depends what I'm doing. I guess it'll be on my TV.
The 3rd day is that fun day where they'll just let anybody make a pick and they'll bring up mascots and they'll bring up crazy ass shit. So it's worth watching there. It's in Cleveland this year, right?
Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
Right next to the stadium.
Mm-hmm. So we'll have a lot of talk about the NFL draft, but UFC 261,
yes.
I won't say was this weekend. And I'm just going to be honest. I did not watch it. I didn't watch it. Big Ev, I'm aware of it. I saw the highlights. You are a big UFC guy. You came in glowing about this card today.
It was phenomenal, like top to bottom. Even like it was just so amazing. I think what happened is we got so used to not having fans.
Right.
You forgot how special it is to have the fans, especially in a sport like that where it's just every punch, every kick is
it's a very reactionary
just
sport.
Exacerbated by the crowd, a full crowd, full capacity. I think it was close to 20,000. Even the first fight, the girls just came at each other. The girl immediately gets dropped.
Yeah.
Then to the very end to Masvidal getting knocked out for the first time in his career.
Yeah.
Just unbelievable top to bottom.
When you say he got knocked out, he got knocked
the fuck out.
That was a hammer.
I mean, he's 50 pro fights, never been knocked out, hadn't even been finished, and it was a submission since 2009.
Oh, I have somebody submitted a great non-sporting event, sporting event.
I was just looking at a bunch of them too.
Selection Sunday is a great non-sporting event, sporting event. Yeah,
I would still lean draft, but that's very close. I personally would lean draft. It's close.
It's 6 and 1/2 dozen of the other. It's both great.
Someone also said the first day of NBA free agency. That's a good one.
Yeah, that ain't bad.
Strong.
That ain't bad at all because
NBA free agency as a whole is just fun.
It's chaos and it all happens at once. I like that. You get to see Woj go back and forth with Shams. Yep. Okay. Those are both good. I like both of those takes. I still would pick the NFL. No, I don't know. Selection Sunday.
I personally would pick NFL, but I don't blame anybody if they would take Selection Sunday. It's good.
I think it depends if your team's in it. If your team's going to be a 1 through 4 seed, you just go into it feeling good. If your team's not in it, it's hard. And I view a lot of sports through the prism of being a poor, sad sack Mississippi State fan. So, but I do love Selection.
Well, that's
Sunday.
why I'll lean NFL draft because it's no matter who you are, if you're the worst team, best team, it's like a clean slate of hope, of just new talent to be brought in. It's just things to be excited about no matter what.
I'll tell you one thing about the UFC fights this weekend. I successfully, knock on wood, have not seen the leg break.
Oof.
I have not seen it. I don't want to see a leg break. I don't like seeing leg breaks. That's just not something. As soon as Twitter started exploding, like, oh my God, I was like, my radar went up. I'm like, what is this? And they said he just snapped his leg in half, and I said, nope. And I started not looking at media in tweets. I don't like a leg snapping in sports.
It was graphic. It was.
I'm glad the knockout happened because that took over Twitter.
Yeah, you're right.
If the knockout didn't happen, like all the memes would have been the leg breaking rather than the knockout.
UFC guys are like Dana White literally posted the clip on his Instagram.
Yeah, no, they didn't.
Straight up posted on his Instagram.
Yeah,
it's not like the NFL or whatever. You see or NBA, you see like a bad leg break. People don't see it. UFC, they're like, just show it.
Yeah, it's part of the show, right? It was so it was still a great card despite that. Like that didn't bring the card down.
No, because every fight, every fight in the main card was phenomenal. I mean, in the three title fights were all fantastic. All finishes in the first 2 rounds. I mean, Rose Namajunas with the leg kick as a pretty heavy dog to knocks her out. She hadn't been beat since like her first fight, Zhang Weili. Just great, and then just Usman Masvidal. I mean. For someone like Usman,
yeah,
a punch like that where he's kind of had this MO of being the wrestler, which if you watch his last few fights, it's not the case. I mean, he just knocked out Gilbert Burns. I mean, he's had some big finishes like that, but this KO, I think is going to be so big for him on a personal level with his brand of being a superstar.
Well, that's how you make bigger stars, right? Those knockout punches,
and just to knock out a guy like that who's just such a crowd favorite. Like I said, has never been knocked out his entire life.
I was
stunning.
I was rooting for Masvidal because again, when I went to AEW wrestling back in February, Jorge Masvidal was just sitting there on the front row in a pink bathrobe and no shoes on.
He's the coolest motherfucker. He is the coolest motherfucker. And
he had a good reaction to getting knocked out. Like
I mean, it's one of those things you can't, like, what can you say? Like, he just knocked you the fuck out.
Well, it's one of those sports where I mean, you're just going to get knocked out.
Ben Askren, I thought, approached it well because a lot of people were adding him, kind of being like, oh, like karma. And he said, listen, he goes, I don't believe in karma. He goes, you fight long enough, shit happens.
You're going to.
And I thought that was the perfect way to describe what happens.
If you get into a pit full of hammers, you're eventually going to get hit in the face.
And it was little. It was interesting just because all week and like the lead up to it, the vlogs they do, the embeddeds, he had been really just hammering like Usman's got no power, one of the least power punchers I've ever fought. And then in the fight, he even was kind of getting hit and just smiling at him. And he just kind of was having the one hand up, one hand down on his left cheek and just bang, lights out.
One of the comments says, Brandon, would you consider WrestleMania to be considered the best non-sporting event? No, because it's not a sporting event. Like it's entertainment, and I categorize it as entertainment. I love it. It's one of my favorite things ever. But I wouldn't say it's a non-sporting event, sporting event. It's just a non-sporting event without the second sporting event.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So the draft is directly relates to sports, and it is a sports happening that just doesn't. It's not in between the white lines. I love the draft. I love Selection Sunday. WrestleMania is a good one though. I do like that one. I appreciate that. Did Big Trouble win a belt? No. So Big Trouble Ben Bishop, I went with him to Washington Township, New Jersey this weekend, and I did a video where I was managing him, and it was fun, man. It wasn't a lot of people, 200 people there, and it was just one of those, everybody knows the deal. Everybody knows it's tongue-in-cheek. Everybody knows it's a small event, but it was great. I had a good time, and I did the video yesterday where I jumped up on the rope, and I jumped up on the apron, and I distracted the guy for the finish, and it was he grabbed me, and I was still a little terrified. I peed a little.
They look good. I mean, you got to go in front of 200 before you go in front of 2,000.
That's correct.
You got to work your way up.
So me and Big Trouble Ben Bishop are going to Ohio Valley Wrestling, which is a bigger independent down in Kentucky, OVW, which is a long-time great source of local wrestling. It's where guys like Randy Orton started, Brock Lesnar started, John Cena started. So we're going to OVW June 3rd. So this was a test run to our bigger arena in June. So I'm excited about that. B-Walk is literally the only person that reads chat. I like the chat. It gets my brain going. It gets me back on task sometimes. It helps me. Yes, Colby.
Someone just said the opening ceremony of the Olympics.
That popped in my head, but I just didn't think it was
too long. It's too long.
I just didn't think it was
I tell you
adequate.
What, I don't like
that's too long. The NFL draft is 3 days.
Yeah, but this is just
fair point.
Okay, it's a decent point.
It's a fair point.
All right, but here's the thing about the opening ceremony, and maybe I'm weird. I don't like the ceremony itself. I don't like the pageant. I don't like all that. I don't like the everything, the dancing and everything. But when
fight through it, you got this.
But when I love the parade of nations. When the athletes walk in, that's what I love, and that lasts an hour. I love that. I watch that all day, every day. We're gonna have an Olympics this year, by the way.
Isn't there a summer one?
It's supposed to be in Tokyo, but they of course pushed it off last year. But I don't think Japan's doing as well as some states in the U.S. are doing. So we'll see. I hope we have the Olympics. Not, I mean, COVID-wise. I don't mean like as a populace, but society. I'm sure Japan's doing fine.
Shout out Japan.
Shout out Japan.
Hopefully Japan's doing well. I've never been there, but
I've been there twice. I just lied. I've never been there. My wife's been there.
My dad actually went once.
So my wife speaks 4 languages, Japanese one of them. She spent a year abroad in Tokyo. I've never been. I've only been abroad once, and that was to the Bahamas. That was to my honeymoon, and I just fucked the whole time.
Fuck yeah, Atlantis.
I was about to say, you go to Atlantis.
Atlantis is awesome.
You go down that slide that goes straight down.
Leap of faith.
Yep, that's a good slide.
I don't know if that was
Shark Tank.
Is that new or has that been there the whole time?
I think it's been there.
I believe I went. It would have been 20 like 2005.
Okay, well, I went in 2006. That was my honeymoon. I didn't see that slide, but again, the fucking.
Didn't get out of the hotel much.
It was.
You got out of the resort.
It was substantial. And I don't want, before we get into any further, before we get into the NFL draft or anything like that, I don't want to make a big deal out of waking up at 6 a.m. this morning and starting with my personal trainer up there in Mahwah, New Jersey. I don't want to do that.
The chat is also chiming in. They don't want to make a big deal about it, but they're bringing up that you woke up.
Donofrio Fitness up there in Mawa. You know, I go every day. I'm going to be there at 6:45 tomorrow. And listen, it's not that big of a deal. Bettering ourselves. It's chat. Please don't bring that up. I would appreciate it. Bring it up some. Bring it up a little bit. I planned this pre-COVID. I think I'm going to start saying that.
Plan this
whenever I do anything. Like I'm going to, I'm going to order lunch at the melt shop. This was planned pre-COVID. I'm just going to say everything was pre. That's just such a wild, thing.
And Dave quotes me, he said, I want to die and come back as Ben Mintz.
Because Ben Mintz lives in this wonderful, amazing world. And, like, he's the most positive guy I've ever met in my entire life. He's an Ole Miss fan. I can't even dislike him. I want to dislike him. I can't. But Ben Mintz lives in a world where everything is great for Ben Mintz, and that's all that matters.
I don't know if Mintz is aware that like wars happen.
I don't know. I don't think so.
He just is living. He's living his best life all the time.
Like I feel like Ben Mintz will walk past a homeless person in New York, and like it's a ray of sunshine that walks by, and the homeless person's in like, oh, life's not that bad.
Yeah, it's all right.
Life's okay. This is gonna be a good day.
Things could be worse. They always could be worse.
He just absolutely. Man, Ben Mintz has an outlook that I envy, because I stress, I worry, I do all this, and I think Ben doesn't have time for any of that.
No. What do you have time to worry when life's just the best?
If you're planning 14 months in advance vacations to Pensacola, you ain't got much to worry about. You've got your life figured out.
Living.
It is figured the hell out. I don't want to make a scene, but Brandon looks so jacked. Okay, Johnny Boyles, listen, thank you for the comment. I appreciate it.
Let's not make it a big deal.
Please.
Let's not.
Please, we got a lot of stuff to talk about.
You are looking, my goodness.
I mean, right? Also, I made an executive decision a couple of days ago when I found 4 free of these in Big Cat's pile. I'm dressing like an adult now and not wearing the T-shirts as much. Got to get rid of the titties before the T-shirts come back. So I'm going to dress like an adult for a while.
I like the quarter zip. I'm a big quarter zip guy.
42-year-old father of 4, that's a quarter zip wearing.
For sure.
That's a dude. I can't afford to go play golf much, but if I could, I would be playing golf. I'd be wearing my quarter zip.
And then if it gets too hot, boom, take that off. Then you still got your shirts underneath.
Correct. Yeah, so I can always go back. Yeah. I can always go back. All right, so baseball before we get into, and Jeff DeLow will be here shortly to talk a little bit of Oscars, a little bit of Dozen preview. Baseball this weekend, some hot storylines. Fernando Tatis, actually I'm not going to get into baseball because I don't know if he heard that, but Jeff DeLow is walking towards us as we speak. That was really good timing on his part. So here he comes, got the Golden Knights hoodie, and he is in the building. I don't know. But go over there, I guess. I don't know what happens in this room on the weekends. I think it's the Arsenal thing. I don't know, but all the mics are displaced and everything. Jeff DeLow is going to find him a seat, and we're going to sit along. We'll no longer allow my girlfriend to follow BFW on anything. Just can't compete. Thank you very much, JF. Looking forward to Brandon's first leg day. Thomas Loftus, that's tomorrow. I'm very nervous about it. Hello, Jeff.
Oh, you must be talking so much about how much you're working out.
Yeah, right?
I can tell.
Please don't make a big deal.
It's not a big deal.
Question.
Yeah.
You want to preview the Dozen selection show first, or you want to talk about the Oscars first?
Selection show tonight, 4 teams in the bubble, Ev's team being one of them. It's a very cool production, you can confirm.
I've seen some of the production. It is remarkable. It is a selection show.
It's the 2 guys who work here, Trey, and obviously people know Youngstown Bob. They absolutely fucking crushed it. It's
every selection show you've seen and how wonderful it is. That's what this one's going to look like. There are 4. You said there were 4 teams on the bubble. I thought there were 3. I thought it was ZD, Uptown Balls, and 2.5 Men.
Nightmare, I said, essentially got in. Like they said, there was still a chance fans could vote them so hard out.
Yeah.
That they wouldn't get in, but I just didn't see it happening. So there's 4. We promoted as 4 bubble. There's other bubble teams as well. Mm-hmm. I don't know if Lisa Ann, Big T, and Pat are going to get in. Okay. I don't think Nadeau, O'Day, and Owen are going to get in. Mm-hmm. The O's
that played once. So I don't want to pressure you at all because I know the seating's already in. Everything's locked, right?
Correct.
If I don't get the 5 seed, I'm burning your apartment to the ground.
Okay. No, I didn't decide the seeds.
All right.
Again, that seems to be a concept that has just eluded you.
I am a top 5. Well, I know it's the computers that rank me low or ranked us low, the computers need to be reprogrammed. The computers need to be broken. The computers need to be thrown off the top of this building.
You kept saying 9 games over 500 like you were 10-1. I mean, you lost 30 times.
We've played 70 and at a two-man disadvantage. At a man disadvantage.
You're 4-2 with Fran. What is that?
We're 5-2 with Fran, I think. We did it the other day. We were 5-2, right?
No, actually, I actually think you're. Yeah, something like that.
We absolutely botched the one game. Absolutely threw it
that's
away.
just heart, Big F. That's just.
Well, I want to ask Jeff this. Do you think the computers take into account the amount of sheer experience they have? Like, is that a positive or negative for them? Because they're just clearly so much more experienced than literally every other team.
There is strength of schedule matters a fair amount, and so I guess you could translate that experience to the fact that they've played a bunch of people. That's what helps Chicago. Chicago's 5-10, but they've played more teams than more teams outside of the only team that's played more different teams is you guys.
Yeah. So one of the questions that I keep getting when I tweet about the dozen or do this is people want to know, when are you going to announce whether or not the replacement for Team Ziti will continue to be the replacement for Team Ziti?
So granted, I didn't change out Bailey's name to Hank, but the vote said Rico Bosco.
Okay. All right. So
I think Dave essentially said shit or get off the pot on Dave Portnoy's show last week, and I think Eddie's still shitting. So I think we can. Yeah.
What did he say that in regards to?
He just mentioned, he said, like, hey, I would play for the team, and he said, hey, like, you haven't made a decision yet. I keep saying I'll play. Yeah. And Eddie kind of waffled back and forth, and so I would run under the assumption that if ZD were to get in, it would be Rico. If he I don't know. Okay. They could also be left to the altar again. You just never know. Yeah. You just don't know.
All right, well, we'll see. Dozen selection show 7 p.m. Eastern time tonight, 6 Central.
Merchandise launches around 7 too. Got to buy a shirt. If you buy a shirt, we can do cooler things.
Okay. All right. So I noticed. Now, I'm just going to fight through it. I'm fighting through it.
Yeah, but he's so dramatic.
No, I'm not. I'm not dramatic.
It's like you never had a TV turn on in your life.
You went to the gym this morning.
I did. I'm amped up because of all the adrenaline from going to the gym.
What did you watch? Wait, did he talk about what he listens to or watches at the gym?
No.
No.
He has a trainer.
I have a personal trainer, so I don't have time to watch. I don't know that I love the playlist. It was all classic rock. I'm not a classic rock guy. I'm more of a hip hop guy. But that's okay. That's okay. It's my first time. But yeah, it was good. Jeff, thank you for asking. So selection show tonight. Merch drop tonight. If you want a Frank and the Frankettes t-shirt, if you want a Minahan t-shirt, if you want a Yak t-shirt, you can get those tonight at 7, starting tonight at 7.
And then if you buy those, we can do like really cool stitched hats maybe down the road. So like buy the shirt.
And then the dozen
people want to buy stuff.
The dozen will be recorded on May 4th and May 5th and will be released the week after.
Yeah.
What?
I don't know I have no idea how I'm going to pull it off.
Am I going to have to write questions?
No, you can't.
Can I write questions for my match?
No.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
You asked. You had to ask.
Yeah. I
could have technically said yes.
There are definitely people competing in this tournament that would try to cheat that way because they try to cheat in many other ways. Cons, if you're watching, I'm talking about you.
We talked about earlier. We launched the Barstool NFT today.
Yeah.
Skyrocketing prices for days, but down the road, would you if the Captain Khan's Arena question was an NFT, would you try to purchase that?
Yeah, I think I would. I would. Well, I don't know. I was trying to think everything from the dozen, like the two moments that stick out for me, the dozen are that, and then was a bad one for me, but the Chicago night when they were very drunk and I blew Jason Kidd at the end, and I said triple it and I got it wrong, and they went crazy, and they were the drunkest people I've ever actually communicated with.
Except for Chief. Chief was not.
No, Chief was fine.
Chief flew the banner for them that night.
I'm wondering how this NFT is going to work. Like, I'm thinking me and Devlin's got to be an NFT, right?
Yeah, I would think so.
I would think so, yeah.
Yeah, that's got to be one. So
I think it's going to be pretty, like, I would imagine.
That's why I did it. I figured in about, that was October 19, so I figured a year and a half later, NFTs would be a big thing. We'd be able to use it. That's why I pushed him.
I mean, I feel like, it's going to be picky. It's going to be exclusives. That's a big one though. Like mine, the dozen ones are cool, but like the ones that we're gonna release, I imagine are gonna be iconic. And you assaulting our coworker was
that is definitely my attempt at being iconic here. So let's talk about the Oscars for a second. I don't think it really. We're not going to talk about it for long, but it was a huge shock when Chadwick Boseman did not win last night. I saw that Anthony Hopkins was plus 700 to win in some places to win, and he ended up winning.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a shock to the producers of the show that he lost.
So you keep saying that. Do the producers not know?
No, they don't.
Why don't they?
You know how
if
they
you have
always,
to plan a show, though.
You know how they always trot out the nerds with the briefcases every year? That's that.
Well, I don't know that.
Know.
I've never watched the Oscars in my entire life.
You did say that.
Yeah. I've just never watched it.
So how exactly does the voting work, or however they select?
But see, that's the interesting thing. The same people who vote for Best Picture aren't the same people that vote for Best Actor. There's different pools, like the Directors Guild, like the directors are different.
I never knew that.
The Best Picture pool is massive now. It used to be smaller, but since like the Oscar So White thing, they were like, okay, we do only have old white people voting. Now the pool is. For sure, there's the new Academy and the old Academy.
Yeah.
And people believe the new Academy now heavily outweighs the old one. Parasite winning last year was kind of the big nod to that. And so the Best Picture voting is way different. The Best Picture voting, you rank them. 1 through 8 or 1 through 9. And that's why some of the older members, like, they don't really know how to use computers. They'll go on and they'll rank just the top, and then the rest will be alphabetical. So it's a really fucked up system. Because, like, old people who are like, they'll be like, all right, Nomadland, and they're like, the rest alphabetized, and they just leave it that way. But that's a very important thing because now you're giving second-place votes to, like, whoever is the letter B in that list.
You thought Nomadland was going to win, right?
Yeah, that was that. I mean, everything went to form last night. Best Actress was the only one, and I think I mentioned on the show Friday, the two that had value were Frances McDormand and Viola Davis, but the 3 Best Actress were all plus money, so there really was no crazy favorite, but everything else fell to form. I even tweeted it. I go, Nomadland won Best Picture. Like, everything's to form. Chadwick's going to win Best Actor, blah, blah, blah. Now, Anthony Hopkins did win at the BAFTAs. That's like the British Oscars. So, like, there was some idea that, maybe he'll sneak in and he'll steal it. But then other people said, that's just him winning on his home field, so it didn't mean anything. So it was, and again, they catered the show to end with a tribute to Chadwick Boseman with a posthumous Oscar win. And they took a risk. I made the comment this morning. That's like if Roger Goodell said, hey, I'm going to announce the first pick for Trevor Lawrence's house, and then they take, like, Justin Fields instead. That's basically what happened.
This will be the last thing we talk about. Then we'll talk about NFL draft. If you want to stay for that, you can stay for the NFL draft talk too. But my question is, when it comes to the Best Picture nominees, is it a trend in recent years? I feel like I've noticed it. Like 20 years ago, Gladiator wins. These big pictures that people actually saw. Now it seems like there's all movies that nobody really sees.
Yeah, I mean
Isn't that bad for the Oscars?
I mean, Gladiator, like, that's
American Beauty. I mean, there was all these movies back then.
Yeah, it absolutely is bad. But there's just more movies too, and different platforms. The way they're released.
I didn't know that.
People aren't going to theaters like they used to either. That's another big thing. I don't know. This year is going to be an interesting one because so many big blockbusters got pushed this year. This year has so many movies that I am curious if a couple, like, very well-known movies sneak in. I mean, Black Panther got nominated a couple years, so that was a pretty big deal. Yeah. So, like, you see those things sneak in and out, but yeah, I mean, whatever happened last night was a fucking disaster. They blew it.
Yeah, I can't imagine the ratings for that show. I don't know if they're out yet.
Could not have been high at all.
Yeah, it was the least talked about, the least anticipated that I've ever seen.
They have to find a way to integrate more of, I think, the mainstream movies, whether that's an extra award like they talked about. Like, I think is it stupid? Yeah. But I mean, they adapted, they added an animated movie category. Like,
is it going to be in April from now on, or is that just
No, that was just because of COVID. That was a COVID window. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you. That was good. Good Oscar talk.
Actually, next year it'll be in March again because next year will be the Winter Olympics. And whenever the Winter Olympics happen, they move the Oscars a month.
I hope we have a Winter Olympics. I hope we have a Summer Olympics.
I think we will.
Summer's I think they're trying, but I think it's going to be tougher. Winter obviously would be easier, but
Brandon said Japan's struggling.
I don't think Japan's doing as good as we are, or at least some of our states are. I'm saying COVID-wise. Why does it always come out racist?
It has nothing to do with you being racist. I just didn't think you'd be like, I didn't think you'd toss on inside info about.
It's not inside. Just, you know how you open your Twitter and you got the news and everything, and it never says, oh, this country's doing great in COVID. This country, it's just now it's all about India. They're doing terrible, and it's all about. Anyway, NFL draft this week in Cleveland, by the way.
Yeah, it is. I need to go write trivia because again, I don't know how we're gonna do this next week. No idea.
You sure you don't need me to write trivia for games I'm not in?
I feel like that could rise some. We'll see.
I mean, I've written trivia the whole time.
True. Now it's a tournament. The trophy's sick.
Okay.
Can I just note one gambling thing?
Please.
The Shazay parlay went 5-3 this week.
Okay. Well, there's no such thing as a parlay going 5-3. Once it loses, it's done.
The legs went 5-3.
It's gonna hit.
Okay.
One
so
time
so just in case people don't know, the Shazay parlay is an 8-leg parlay every Saturday. Myself, Owen, Nick, and KB. I think I blew it this week because 2 of the 3 legs that lost were my soccer plays, and they were abysmal.
By the way,
Bit of a shame.
I just happened to wake up on Saturday morning and watched the end of, I don't even know who it was, a crazy soccer game. Was it Liverpool and somebody? God, who was it? Who did I watch on Saturday? They had a goal disallowed in stoppage time, and then they scored a goal in the very last possession to tie it at 1. I think it was Aston Villa.
I stopped watching soccer pretty quickly on Saturday once I saw that my lock lost and blew the parlay.
Damn! Somebody in chat tell me who that was. Who played on Saturday? Because then I watched another one on Sunday. It was the worst match I've ever seen. It was that was Man U and Liverpool. I think it was 0-0.
No, Man U played. I thought they played Leeds.
They did play Leeds. You're right. They played Leeds. It starts with an L. Same thing. Leeds and Liverpool.
Man U's either going to score about 10. There's either going to be 8 goals in a Man U game, or they're going to park the bus and they're going to be none.
All right, let's talk NFL draft. Jeff,
go Browns.
Thank you for stopping by.
Great NFL draft show on Thursday night.
NFL draft show. Thank you very much. You'll be behind the scenes.
Yep.
I'll be hosting with Stephen Shea and Roan, the NFL. That's ENEFFELL draft show on Thursday night. Starts at whatever time the draft starts, 8 p.m. and it's going to be fantastic. We did it last year. It was one of my favorite things I did last year, and it'll be funny this year. So, Big F, we got the draft. My biggest question for today. My biggest question for right now is we are about to potentially see an NFL draft where 5 quarterbacks get taken in the top 10. All right? So it is very, very rare, if it's ever happened at all, that there are 5 good starting quarterbacks that come out of the NFL draft. You might have some solid backups and everything, but these are top 10 picks. You want a good starting quarterback. It's very rare, if it's ever happened, that you have 5 good starting quarterbacks in the draft. Maybe 83 was one. And I think, 2017 I don't think has 5 good ones. But 5 teams are potentially going to use a pick in the top 10 on a quarterback. And I don't see 5 good quarterbacks out there. I see at least 3 of these teams regretting what's about to happen.
The odds are for sure in that favor.
I just don't
I'd say, honestly, they'd be lucky to have 2 that become franchise guys.
I think Trevor Lawrence, you can pencil. I feel like that's just that is a franchise quarterback. I feel like he's transcended. I think he'll be even better pro than he was a college player. I just think that's what kind of skill set he has. So putting Lawrence aside, the next 4, we all believe Zach Wilson is heading to the Jets. Then you have news came out today or yesterday. Ian Rappaport says the Niners are probably down to Trey Lance and Mac Jones, which is shocking to me.
They say that Shanahan wants Mac Jones.
Yeah.
The rest of them want Trey Lance.
I just look at, and I know that I don't know what the knock is on Justin Fields, but he had 50 touchdowns and 3 interceptions last year. I don't see what you see out of Mac Jones and Trey Lance that is better than Justin Fields. But you got Trey Lance, you got Justin Fields. Those 5 quarterbacks are going in the top 10 because I think the Panthers are just going to sit back at 8 and catch whoever falls to them, and just going to be fine with it.
For me, I'm such a big believer in Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah.
That I believe if he thinks Mac Jones is his guy, they'd be dumb as an organization not to give him his guy. Forcing a quarterback on a head coach, I don't have the numbers on it.
That doesn't work.
It never works.
That does not work.
Vince Young is kind of the poster child for it, that it just doesn't work, even though I think he was talented and probably could have been good in the right situation.
Yeah, I agree with that.
If he wants Mac Jones, I think you got to go Mac Jones. That's what it is. If he's your quarterback guru, he's your offensive play caller, give him his guy.
Shanahan has proven to be a probably the most respected offensive coach in the league.
He's a great play caller. They built a great offense around that position. Just need that guy there. If you think he's the guy that can just steady the ship, make the throws.
That being said, Kyle Shanahan knows more than I do. I don't see it with Mac Jones. I look at Mac Jones. He didn't start till his redshirt junior season or the last year there. He was behind Tua, fine. But he has played the last 14 games he played with the best running back in the country. He played with the best receiving core in the country. He played behind the best offensive line in the country.
Yes.
These are all advantages Alabama quarterbacks often have, but it felt like this was the best offense we've seen. Well, 2019 LSU notwithstanding, this was an incredible confluence of offensive talent, and I feel like Mac Jones was the benefactor, not the driving force. And I don't want a benefactor at number 3.
It just felt like, listen, like I watched all the Alabama games. I'm not gonna sit here and say like I've sat back in the offseason and watched tape like some of these guys have. It just seemed to me like he never had to make super tough throws. Your receivers, like, I'm not saying he never did, but it felt like he didn't have to as often as some other guys had to.
And in fairness to him, and against my argument, him not having to make them doesn't mean he can't make them.
For sure.
So and maybe these scouts have seen the arm strength, the wherewithal. Now, part of that of never making a tight window throw, part of that is always reading the defense and knowing where to go with the football. And that's a very good skill set to have. But I just I don't know. Maybe it's my own biases. Maybe it's my own lack of expertise in quarterbacking. If I'm going one Trevor Lawrence, I still feel like Justin Fields should be in that 2 to 3 mix, and I can't believe he's going to be the one to fall. And I know it's a loaded question with you being an Ohio State fan, but I look at Justin Fields, I think that's the guy. I don't see Trey Lance as that guy.
I really think that the Jets are making a big mistake.
What going Zach Wilson?
Yes, I do. I think he's the guy. Think about when we think NFL, like just the NFL, the entire thing, just Jets. Tell me how you can see in 5 years that the Jets are the dumbasses who took Zach Wilson, who played against nobody.
Yeah.
And then think about how easy it'll be to look and be like, oh, like, duh, Justin Fields is good. 6 touchdown passes in the semis against Clemson, or the guy who lost to Coastal Carolina.
Well,
I know it's not that cut and dry. There's football teams. I get it. It's not just a one-man show. But it just seems to me that's such like just the way the NFL works. It almost makes me feel better about Justin Fields that everyone's kind of like down on him a little bit.
Well, the great comment I've seen about the Jets is it feels like they traded Sam Darnold to draft Sam Darnold.
That's exactly.
It feels
exactly.
It feels like they traded in a 92 Honda Accord to get a 92 Honda Accord, just different color.
Like they has this phenomenal. Like I feel like everyone just fell in love with this guy in shorts. Like he has great arm talent.
Now he did. I guess it was that game at Boise last year, that road game where they killed Boise, and he had great numbers. He came out of nowhere and put up great numbers, put himself in the Heisman contention. But again, it's 1 year production. It's against competition that it's always
and
that.
Boise's defense this year was awful.
It's always awful. You always have to figure it out. Is the guy producing because he's playing? The competition isn't great, or is he going to produce regardless? Because certainly some small college quarterback, a lot of small college quarterbacks, a lot of lower level quarterbacks have gotten in the NFL and thrived. Mm-hmm. So, and not that BYU is a smaller college, but their competition wasn't great last year. I don't know, man. I love Trevor Lawrence at 1, Zach Wilson at 2. I accept, and then at 3. Mac Jones, Trey Lance, Justin Fields, whatever. The draft starts at 4, in my opinion.
No, for sure. I think so too.
The draft starts at what are the Falcons going to do? The Falcons hold the key to this draft, and it feels like, I don't know if I'm making that up in my head, it feels like the Falcons hold the key to the draft like once every 2 or 3 years. It feels like this happens a lot. But they've got Julio Jones, who I think they're probably fielding trade calls for.
That's the word.
I think they're fielding trade calls. That makes a lot of sense. They can get a good return for him. They've never really won big with him. You got Matt Ryan for a couple of more years. Do you get him do you draft your next quarterback? Do you draft a weapon for Matt Ryan? Did I say Matt Jones?
No.
For Matt Ryan, and you draft or do you draft a tackle? So I think the draft starts at 4, whatever the Falcons do. As a Dolphins fan, I'm at 6. I'm hoping for Kyle Pitts or Jamar Chase to fall to us. That's all I want. That's all I want in my life.
It's interesting because we pretty much know the Dolphins and Bengals are not going to take a quarterback. So it's almost for me, I find it hard to believe that the Falcons aren't going to get a very enticing deal to get to trade back.
Yeah, especially
it just makes sense.
Like the Panthers sitting there at 8, if they're scared, they could come up to 4, or if somebody wants to jump the Panthers, like the Patriots, if they want to jump and come up to 4, they could come up and get a guy.
There's been the word that they like Fields a lot.
So the Falcons now. if I'm the Falcons, it's hard to look at Kyle Pitts because I know he's a tight end. I know that's high for a tight end, but he could be the very best tight end. Like he's that good.
When you're 6'5" and run a 4.4, you're a receiver.
This Kyle Pitts, man, I think
they said he ran the fastest 40 for a guy over 6'5" since Calvin Johnson.
He is absolutely a matchup nightmare. He's a red zone target. I think for the modern NFL, Kyle Pitts is perfect. And I would love to see him fall to 6 and love to see the Dolphins be able to choose between Chase, the best receiver in the draft, or Kyle Pitts, the best. We call him a tight end, but you're really drafting a receiver.
They said you're 6'5", you're on a 4.4, you're a receiver.
You're drafting a receiver / tight end, and and then the Bengals at 5 have an ultimate choice to make. You drafted Joe Burrow last year. You are turning your franchise over to Joe Burrow. Do you give him a number 1 weapon? Or do you give him his protector for the next 12 years?
I think they should go lineman. I think there's a reason he's been in a cast all offseason. They've been laid up. They have 2 strong receivers, in my opinion. You need to protect the guy.
Yeah.
You can't just give him – what happens? You give him another receiver, he gets hurt again. You need a left tackle. Have to have one. Is there any,
and I don't know what the front office of the Bengals think, but Joe Burrow, like the number 1 receiver is his guy.
That's where it gets tough because when he's your guy, he's in your.
God, I wish the number 1. I wish Jamar Chase had went to Florida. I wish Jamar Chase had gone somewhere else other than LSU so the Bengals wouldn't be able to think about this.
Because Joe's in the ear like, hey, like this is my guy.
Yeah, trust me on this.
Like we're gonna light it up if you give me this guy.
And I believe he would because I think Jamar Chase.
I believe
is
he would
good.
too.
But again, you just lost him halfway through the season because you couldn't protect him, and you have a rock like Penei Sewell and any other circumstance, any other draft, I think he's a top 3 pick lock. But there's just so many quarterback needy teams and so many teams wanting to get in that quarterback race that you're going to see some quarterbacks, at least 3 of them, get overdrafted.
I think Slater would be higher as well. I remember watching him at Northwestern play against Chase Young.
Yeah.
He handled Chase Young. That's extremely impressive. He's a big guy. He's a guy who if he fell to 11, I would love the Giants to take him. I think he's a strong lineman. I don't know if he gets there. Really good player.
Billy Mays says, draft the quarterback based on their traits, not the talent they played in college. And that's certainly true. That's
100%.
You draft the guy based on his makeup, based on what he can do, based on his tools. You don't really worry about the jerseys he faced. But if you are parsing these guys out, you are comparing these guys, I think you do have to acknowledge that Zach Wilson and Justin Fields were running different races.
Absolutely.
That doesn't mean that Zach Wilson's not going to be a better pro than Justin Fields. He very well might be. So I will go ahead and tell you that sometimes I'm not always right about college football. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I am. Are you fucking kidding? I'm Mr. College Football at this company. So NFL draft this week. The quarterbacks and receivers, Big Av, I don't think this draft technically is all that great, but the fact that so many of the first round is a quarterback or it is a receiver, it really is an exciting draft to me.
No, there's going to be especially now we've seen how well, especially like the late first round, second round receivers. There's going to be a ton of receivers that go.
If you are a receiver-needy team, you don't have to take a receiver in the front. You can catch one coming back.
That's why I feel like in a Bengals, for example, like they're going to have a high second-round pick too. You take the lineman.
Like the Dolphins need.
You take the lineman. You get, say, the Terrence Marshall, another LSU guy. Maybe you grab him in the second round.
The Dolphins need a 1 and a slot. So what if the Dolphins at 6 get Jamar Chase? What if they came back in round 2 or, I think they had the 50th pick, maybe round 3 and got Rondale Moore to be their slot? Like that.
Rondale Moore still gives me nightmares.
I love Rondale Moore.
He still gives me
nightmares. I think Rondale Moore is just flying under the radar. I think Elijah Moore from Ole Miss is flying under the radar. He is terrific.
Unbelievable.
He has bad choice in colleges, but that's not his fault. He took the money. But Elijah Moore is going to be a great pro. And I like Devontae Smith. Will Devontae Smith fall? You guys are sitting at 11, the Giants.
So I was funny. They've been talking a lot today. So the Giants, they say the word is now that they're split a few. So Judge loves Devontae Smith is the word.
Really?
Loves Smith.
Yeah.
Gettleman loves Micah Parsons, Penn State linebacker. The rest of
I love both of those players.
I do too. So I was kind of fine with either. Some other guys in the organization apparently love J.C. Horn, the corner from South Carolina.
Yeah.
You can never have enough corners in today's NFL. We have quite a few. We have Bradbury. Isaac Gadam we signed looked great last year, and we just signed Adoree Jackson.
Yeah.
Micah Parsons, we can always use more defense. more offensive line. So I'm all in on Micah Parsons. Devontae Smith is very, very intriguing for obvious reasons. He was the best player in college football this year.
Correct.
The guy's phenomenal. I get he's small.
But Micah Parsons,
if he's special, he's special.
Micah Parsons going into the 2020 college football season, him and Jamar Chase, they were like penciled in as top 5 picks.
Yes.
And he opts out, and maybe, I don't know if they found character issues or if they think they found character issues, whatever. But he's now, I think if you get Micah Parsons for between 10 and 15, you're getting I think you're getting a top 5 quality player.
He ran a sub 4.4, Brandon.
Yeah.
He's a linebacker.
Yeah, and he's a beast.
They actually were showing film of him literally just tracking down Justin Fields from behind. I was like, oh my goodness.
He also has ties with Sean Spencer,
Mitchell
who's the coach at the Giants.
Reddington says they're both under 5'10", B-Walk. Well, so is Tyreek Hill. You can be under 5'10" and be a big-time weapon in pro football.
Devontae Smith is – and also, so I'll shout out –
I don't think he's under 5'10". He's just skinny.
Yeah, I think
he's
he
like 5'11", but
he weighed in like 166. So obviously – do you also see Tutu Atwell? Do you see what he weighed in at?
Oh, 149?
149.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Is there any draft prep going on, or did he like focus on the 40 so much that he slimmed down? I don't know.
I almost think it's a weird thing with a guy like that because he's like, would you rather put on 10, 15 pounds and then run a slower 40, or you want to just be what you are and run the 4.3?
I think you need to focus on running the 40, which is odd. It's
you're a
stupid.
receiver. I think it's one of those things. He's probably not going to go in the first round because of it. Someone's going to take a chance on you.
Yeah, there's just so many.
Like I still think he ends up going in the second round.
So many great receivers, like Rashad Bateman, Minnesota. I like that guy.
He'll probably go at the end of the first round.
I love
He's
that
huge.
guy.
Huge.
I love so many receivers in this draft. I like Tutu Atwell. I know he's tiny, but I'm talking third, fourth round now.
Yeah.
I just I think it's going to be a great receiver draft, and Miami comes in needing receivers. I'm anxious. So I look at it. You got Jags at number 1. They're taking Lawrence. Jets, Zach Wilson. The Niners are taking a quarterback.
Probably Mac Jones.
Mac Jones or Trey Lance. The Falcons, I got Fields, Pitts, question mark. They could go any direction. I think the Bengals are going tackle or receiver.
Yep.
The Dolphins are taking the receiver or the tight end, whichever one's there. The Lions at 7. I have no idea.
I feel like they could be a trade back. That's a trade back spot, I think, as well.
Yeah, they could be. Actually, that's right in front of. Like, if Fields is still there and somebody back wants him, they get ahead of the Panthers and get
if Fields is not getting out of the top like 9.
Terrace Marshall, thank you very much. You've already said him, but Terrace Marshall from LSU, very, very good player.
That's what I said. If he still was there in the second round, that's where you go. Bengals go lineman. Terrence Marshall, give him a guy.
What Justin Jefferson go or the receiver for the Vikings? Justin Jefferson.
He went 22 or 23.
Yeah, and he was outstanding.
And that's still one of the funniest clips of the Eagles drafting Jalen Reagor, and they're literally just snickering like these fucking idiots.
Yeah.
Just handing us Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, that's right.
And then the guy just goes berserk in his rookie year. That's the kind of thing where I think these guys, they overthink it. Like, why? Like, the guy was good on the football field against the highest level of competition.
Well, it's almost like,
what's wrong with him? Like, why do you not want him?
NFL teams would probably be better if the draft were in February, like 3 weeks after the Super Bowl, where they could just get onto it and then have an off season and get away from football. But there is overthinking. Did you see the clip of Nick Saban?
No,
the clip of Nick Saban is incredible. It just went out today, maybe yesterday, but he's talking about you can put everything on tape in college. You can be this. You can be a good route runner. You can have great hands. You can do all the right things, but teams are looking for reasons not to draft you. Teams are always looking for red flags, reasons not to draft you. And he says, if you've got all this, if you put everything on tape, if you're a great route runner and you're smart and you're studious and you practice hard, and you have other great qualities, like your family talks well about you, or you're a great student, and then he says you want to be an and guy, you don't want to be a but guy.
Oh, yes. I did that part. I heard, yes.
You always want to be an and guy, not a but guy, and that is brilliant. And from Nick Saban, I mean, he knows what it takes to succeed in college and then in the pros. So I thought that clip was very, very good.
I mean, I'm sure he's talked to more head coaches about like guys wanting to know information than anybody.
I feel like NFL coaches or NFL front offices look for buts, maybe even harder than they probably should.
That's why I think Justin Fields is one of the biggest victims of that this year.
Yeah.
Like, I think you have guys like Dwayne Haskins, and these guys are literally playing into his evaluation, which, if you take a step back, clearly not fair. But it just kind of is what it is, and I think someone's going to get a talented guy in the that 5 to 10 range.
So the Panthers are there at 8. You got
Broncos.
I think the Panthers are going quarterback, whoever it is.
The Broncos should too. Drew Lock's
terrible.
They have a solid team there.
Yeah.
Like they just drafted 2 receivers, 1-2 last year. They have a solid defense. Like they have a team that's built to win now if you have a good quarterback.
So you got Slater in the back half of that top 10, Jalen Waddle, Devontae Smith. I think Devontae Smith could fall a little bit. I think it falls to the back half of the teens.
I'm kind of convinced if Joe Judge, I don't think he gets past the Giants.
By the way,
maybe.
I'm not a Giants fan, but if Dave Gettleman wants one guy and Joe Judge wants one guy, I feel like based on his first year and the momentum, I feel like you need to give Joe Judge his guy.
I think so too. And also he was a Bama guy. So I think he's probably familiar with him, very familiar with the people who coached him.
Well, he's coached at Bama before. He's not a Bama guy.
So he's a Bama guy.
So he's not a Bama guy. Joe Judge is not a Bama guy. Joe Judge played for 4 years at Mississippi State University. He went to Mississippi State. I've DM'd him before.
He has won multiple national championship games wearing Bama gear.
He's
a Bama guy.
He's a Mississippi State guy. He's a Mississippi State product. You're telling me if a guy graduates, if Zeke, let me think of a good guy. Let me think of a good guy. You're telling me if Anthony Gonzalez dropped out of Congress and started coaching football, and he coached USC for 2 years, you wouldn't consider him an Ohio State guy?
I think it'd be tough if he went and won like 3 national championships at USC.
Yeah.
I'd still claim him.
Yeah, you claim him. I'm claiming Joe Judge. Joe Judge.
I mean, shit, I claim Joe Burrow sometimes.
You know what? I mean, Joe Judge.
When I want to be a real asshole, I'll claim Joe Burrow.
Joe Judge was an hour away from being Mississippi State's head coach.
Giants are so smart. God, he's a good coach.
Joe Judge, we were. I don't know.
Joe Judge, if you're listening, I love you.
I don't know if the plane was here or if the plane was gassed up on the tarmac in Starkville, but the plane was going to New England to get him. It was going to New England to bring him back as the head coach of Mississippi State. I think the deal was pretty much done, and the Giants said, "Hey, why don't you come coach us?" And I mean, that's a no-brainer. You coach the New York Giants or coach the Mississippi State Bulldogs or any college team. You coach the New York Giants. So, congratulations. I'm a Joe Judge guy, but don't give him to Alabama. He belongs to me.
He's familiar with. He's very, very familiar. He's very, very in touch with the personnel and just all the coaching staff, everything in the Alabama program.
Sounds like a Bama guy.
Multiple national championships as a Bama guy. He's an alum of Mississippi State. He's an Alabama winner.
He's not an Alabama guy. All right, shit. Stop. All right. Any more sports we can talk about before we get to our picks?
Also, I'm just bringing this up real quick. Did you see that? I saw Ken Jacks posted this, that the Chargers posted and immediately deleted a graphic that said the Giants and Chargers are making a trade where it was the Giants and Chargers swapping 11 and 13.
Yeah.
And then they would give the Giants their third-round pick. Apparently it was posted on their main account, on their San Diego Chargers verified account.
That's certainly
immediately deleted.
That's certainly not one of those random things that can just happen. I mean, that's a graphic that was made for a reason.
I think maybe something was at the goal line, and maybe it's not official yet.
Move back 2 spots to take a third-round pick? I think you do that.
As a Giants fan, I'm more than content with it.
I think you do
Especially when we don't really have, like, you need this. It's kind of, we have a couple things that would be nice.
Yeah.
Maybe Devontae Smith, so they're at 13. Who knows?
Plus, like you said, Devontae Smith, Micah Parsons, J.C. Horn, all 3 guys that are on the radar.
J.C. Horn, I'd imagine, will definitely be there.
Ever tell you my J.C. Horn story?
No, please.
Joe Horn's his dad, right? J.C. Horn. I went to J.C. Horn's high school commitment, and we were videotaping it for who says videotaping anymore? We were filming it for SEC Country, and I show up. And I'm talking to the Horn family, and I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And JC's about to sign, and I walk out of the room, and the room is mic'd. And so we can hear everything in there. And Joe Horn looks at JC and says, "Who's that Game of Thrones looking dude?" And I was like, fuck. Because I'm Joe Horn. Joe Horn's a hero of mine. You know, he was the Saints. He was my first.
One of the best touchdown celebrations of all time.
He was my first favorite player on Madden, on PS2. The route, the corner route with Joe Horn, I loved it. And Joe Horn just called me a Game of Thrones looking dude. And it hurt.
Could be a lot worse. He was an ugly motherfucker.
Well, I think that's what he was saying.
But I mean, he could have actually said it.
All right, here we go. You want to get into picks, or you want to talk some more sports? Let's see. Should a 7-inning no-hitter count? Should a 7-inning no-hitter count?
Asterisk.
I think if you show up to the baseball game that day, and Major League Baseball has dictated that you're going to play 7 innings, and you play throw those 7 innings of hitless baseball, it should at least count in some form or fashion. Maybe an asterisk.
Asterisk.
Yeah, because I mean, To act like it's just not a no-hitter is wrong. To act like it's a full game no-hitter is also wrong. But I think it's definitely worth noting. It's.
I think Bumgarner celebrated appropriately by not really celebrating. Let everyone else tell you it's a no-hitter. You be calm, cool, collected about it. Your outfielders run in and get all excited for you. Let the team get excited for you. You play it calm, cool, because then people want to give it to you. Yeah. If he had like jumped up and was freaking out, people would be like, yo, settle down, guy, with 7 innings. But the fact that he didn't, people are, I think, more willing to be like, hey, hell of a game.
I think I don't know if it's baseball purists or if it's just people that protecting the sanctity of something. Listen, if he plays in a baseball game that was dictated to be 7 innings and he throws a no-hitter, it's a no-hitter. It just is what it is. It's not his. He didn't decide, I'm going to wake up today and throw 7 innings. He threw the game that was presented to him to throw. If he had 2 more innings, who knows what would have happened.
Did you actually hear on the call? I'm pretty sure on the call or something after they were like, or maybe it was just on MLB Network after they were like 7 innings shutout. The other team had no hits.
Yeah, okay.
Well, that would be a no-hitter.
That's a no-hitter. That's a no-hitter. By the way, the Braves, they had 1 hit in a doubleheader.
Yeah, it was stunning.
They got 1 hit and no hit in 14 innings of a doubleheader.
With that lineup, too, is crazy. Especially at the top. That top, like 4 or 5 is phenomenal.
That's a good segue to my pick today. You think Ronald Acuna is staying down long? No. Today on the Barstool Sportsbook app, playing the Cubs, Ronald Acuna to hit a home run, boosted to 350, plus 350. It's boosted from 300. The other day, I had the foresight and the geniusitude to look and see that Fernando Tatis was going to hit a home run in Dodger Stadium. I gave you guys a plus 425 winner. Today, I'm giving you a plus 350 winner. Ronald Acuna is getting things started tonight. I almost want to bet that it's a leadoff home run. I almost want to go even further. Ronald Acuna, home run tonight in Atlanta against the Cubs. Bam. Book it. Barstool Sportsbook if you're in Michigan, Pennsylvania, Illinois. Hammer that shit.
What would you say if I had another one for you, Brandon?
You got another one?
The chopped cheese special. Yankees, Knicks, both to win. The Knicks are the hottest team in the NBA right now.
They are.
9 wins in a row. Have covered 12 games in a row, but doesn't matter. They're going to win today. They're 2-point dogs at home against the Suns on a back-to-back. Sketchy line. I think the Knicks pull it out. Yankees are going to win also. Boosted from plus 230, plus 270. The chopped cheese special is 2-1 lifetime. Hitting at a 66.6% clip.
I love that. I love that bet, and I don't know about the Yankees, but I am going to go with you on the Knicks. I have Knicks money line on my card. I think this is a team that is just they're playing their best basketball. They're feeling it. They're going to get the Suns in the Garden. I think this is a night where they're going to have a little statement win. I got Knicks money line plus 110, Jazz minus 10, Spurs minus 2. In baseball, I got Royals money line minus 115, and against the Yankees, I got the Orioles money line plus 145. Orioles, they both have the exact same record. I don't know. I feel like it's a coin flip game, so I'm going to go with the Orioles today as my pick. Big Ev, what you got?
Like I said, I'm on the Knicks. So on this, I got the Knicks at plus 2.5. I think they're going to win. Take that and take the chopped cheese special. I also have the Yankees, Orioles over 9. I'm going to be honest. I don't trust Domingo Germán. I just don't. I don't trust him right now. So take the over. And a little day special starting at 1 o'clock in a couple minutes. Tigers plus 100.
Tigers plus 100. Who are they playing?
The Royals. The Royals actually been very good. But
that's who I got on.
I like the pitching matchup today. I like Turnbull. I like the pitching matchup. Give me the Tigers.
Who's Brad Keller for the Royals?
Yes. Who's been pretty bad to start the year. Although the Royals have been, I will admit, the Royals have been very good to me as a betting team. They've been much better than people think.
Oh, the Royals are not
good lineup. Really good lineup.
They're not a bad baseball team.
They've been making me some money this year. Royals guy this year.
Speaking of Royals, it'd be a royally good idea if you started eating well at home. It would be, do you want fresh food? Do you want good ingredients? Do you want easy to make recipes? Yes, you do. I'm going to be honest. We have a lot of sponsors here at Barstool, but when I get this box, when HelloFresh gets to my house, we have 10 meals in that box that are both easy. They got fresh ingredients, and they give you a card. They give you the ingredients. Everything you need to make a dish is there. Their sloppy joes are delicious. They have some terrific stroganoff, was very, very good. They have some terrific meals, and you just read it, 30 minutes, bam, you get it done. HelloFresh sends you perfectly made, perfectly measured, perfect ingredients for quick meals at home. It's fantastic. Pre-measured, mouth-watering seasonal recipes delivered right to your door. You can skip trips to the grocery store. Count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. That's why it's America's #1 meal kit. Go to HelloFresh.com/12picks. 12picks. Go there and use that code. That's HelloFresh.com/12picks for 12 free meals. I want you to understand what I just said, because 1 meal from HelloFresh is very good. 2 is outstanding. I'm giving you 12 free meals. Even if you think this is a bad idea, even if you're like, oh, I don't know about that. 12 free meals?
It's free.
Check it out. It's
free.
It's free, idiot. Go ahead and check it out. HelloFresh.com/12picks. Use code 12picks for 12 free meals, including free shipping. That's HelloFresh. It is delicious. I thought shopping was your happy place. It is. I love grocery shopping, but sometimes I don't have time. Sometimes I just love to be able to go right there. And the music's playing already?
Yeah, it's 12:55.
Do we have to end the show?
Ask Dan. I don't know.
All right, the Yak is up next. It is, and I do love going to the grocery store, but HelloFresh is remarkable. Good show, Big Al.
Thanks, Brandon. Thanks, Brandon.
We'll talk about anything you want to say to me?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, good show, Brandon.
Thank you very much. But let's not make a deal of him working out. All right, the Yak is up next.
We're eating so good with HelloFresh.
What time did he work out this morning?
6 a.m.,
Not
brother.
a big deal.
The sun's not even out that time.